everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a really interesting topic, one that might surprise you if you have been following the healthcare world. We have all heard the critiques about big health insurance companies, right? But recently there has been a shift in sentiment and more people are feeling happy about what is happening with United Healthcare and its CEO Brian Thompson. It's a little unexpected, especially considering the mixed reputation these companies often have. So what have changed, and why are people now finding reasons to cheer for United Healthcare and Brian Thompson? Let's break it down.
Just lost a child, a husband, a father, and all I'm seeing on social media is just people being happy about it. I am so confused. And on top of that, they're now wanting to create a GoFundMe for the person who committed the crime. They are cheering him on, and some people are even creating target lists of other people who may be next. What is going on? Can someone please explain this to me? When did we stop being human? What did Brian Thompson do that people are happy?
You know what this is giving me? This is giving me Senator Katie Britt standing at the State of the Union in a big fancy kitchen talking about struggles. You wearing $1 million in jewelry, asking us to explain to you what the healthcare system has done under Brian Thompson as the CEO to people. First of all, I don't sympathize with a murderer. I'm not simping for him. I think it's fucking weird. It's like giving Ted Bundy vibes. I just don't have empathy for it. I'm over here giving my empathy and sympathy for school shooting victims. I'm over here giving my empathy and sympathy for marginalized communities. I'm not giving my empathy or sympathy to a man that I don't care about. It's all used up. But this right here, knock it off. Stay on private. Never make another fucking video again. Because the audacity you had to make one in the first place, sit it down, Cupcake. This is your political mom. Educational purposes only. Viewers discretion advised.
Do you know who else has lost children, husbands, fathers, even mothers, wives, grandmothers? You know who else has lost family? It's people that have been affected by the insurance industry. And I don't think people are directly celebrating what happened to this man. I think this is more of a fantasy scenario, right? Have you ever seen the movie John Q? John Q, where the guy basically goes to get revenge for what happened to his son because of the insurance industry? This is just like that. See, because right now we don't know the motive for what happened, right? And a lot of people are assuming, myself included, that this could be somebody who was wronged by the insurance industry. This is somebody who may have lost family because insurance denied a claim or did something, and now that person lost family also. Now, I may be judging you here, and I don't know you, but I also don't think that you understand what it's like to have to fork over a bunch of money, $500, $1,000, $1,500 more, because the insurance companies won't pay for something. You are obviously doing well, and I'm happy for you, but you obviously have money, so you wouldn't know what it's like to not have money or to have to make hard decisions to spend money where it could go somewhere else. Most of us don't know what it's like to be in your shoes, and we have to worry about where our money is going, and we have to budget tight, and we can't afford insurance companies to not process our claims or to deny our claims. Case in point, I talked about this last week. I had a case where one of my kids had an emergency at school, had to go from school to ER by ambulance. Insurance would not pay for it. I filed a grievance, and it just so happens I'm finally getting something in the mail today where I'm fully expecting them to tell me to pound sand. So to answer your question, and as you've asked your question, I don't think that you've listened to people who have talked about their stories, because if you have, you would understand why. Again, I don't think people are directly celebrating what happened to this man, but it's the John Q fantasy, right? It's likely that the person who did this was wronged somehow by the insurance industry and probably lost family members also. So that's all this is.
So Brian Thompson was the CEO of United Healthcare, which in my professional opinion, as somebody that has been doing medical billing and coding for 20 plus years, is one of the absolute worst insurance companies that I have ever had to deal with. He allowed the use of AI for claim verification, which meant that an AI program was either approving or denying claims for healthcare without anybody with any sort of medical knowledge was actually physically looking at these claims, which that then led to people not getting the care that they needed, and subsequently people died from that. He allowed and encouraged unethical business practices because he chose a bottom dollar over the care for the members that this company was supposed to be serving. People are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on insurance, and they were not able to use it because of the rules and the regulations that United Healthcare was putting in place, not only for medical care, but also for medication. My humanity is not unconditional. I do feel sorry for his family. I absolutely do. But I also will not defend the actions of a man who chose his $10 billion salary over the well-being of the members that he was supposed to be helping serve.
big jewel having self got on here telling everybody that they need to have a little bit more sympathy over a man who has lined his pockets with the money of people who are suffering because they can't afford to live. Hey, thanks, by the way. Some people, you really can judge a book by its cover. By the way, everybody, have y'all seen that one photo that's been circulating around of, I don't know what this thing is, the face is all kinds of blurry, two dark holes of a suggestion of eyes? I don't know what I'm looking at. It's not a person, but they claim it's him. I don't know what it is. I was just about to post this, then I realized that her name is Country Club Mom. Wow, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that somebody with that name would have these opinions. I cannot believe it.
I hope that this can give some insight. I was assaulted by a friend. Obviously, I went to the hospital. I didn't know whether he had a disease or an illness. There was no protection. I was fearful about pregnancy, so I went to the hospital to get a kit done, went to go get treatment. I don't know if you've ever gotten a kit before, but it is one of the most vulnerable, uncomfortable, and also painful things that you could ever get. They pluck hair, they swab you, they scrape under your nails, they scrape your private area. They give you a bunch of pills to take to prevent pregnancy and to prevent the manifestation of STDs or STIs. And then they give you one of the strongest shots that you can ever take. It's in your hip, and that's to prevent HIV. After they gave me that shot in my hip, I can't begin to explain to you how painful of a situation that is. And in the aftermath of something so vulnerable and so painful, a nurse came in with an iPad and told me my total of how much that was gonna cost. It was hundreds of dollars, including insurance coverage. I had to dip into my savings to pay for it. After that, as expected, I fell into one of the deepest depressions that I've ever had in my life. The loss of my humanity had turned me into the most apathetic person that could exist. I had told my doctor that I really did not care if I lived or if I died. And that's a scary sentence for anybody to hear. So my doctor put me on a medication, and sometimes medicine like SSRIs don't react the way that they need to for everybody. And I was one of those people. It didn't matter what SSRI I tried, it was making me experience symptoms that I didn't experience beforehand, and it was scary. I would deal with things like auditory hallucinations and being very aware of my heart beating and feeling the blood rush through my body. I would have very vivid nightmares and really bad anxiety, and overall it just wasn't good for my body. So my doctor once again said, I'm going to refer you to a special type of treatment called TMS therapy, and that might help you. So I went to that TMS treatment facility. They did my consult with the doctor, and my doctor was like, if there is any chance for this depression to go away from you, or for an alleviation of your post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, I think this might save your life. And my insurance denied the claim. My insurance denied the claim. And their saying was that I didn't try enough medication for me to seem like I qualified for it. And my doctor was enraged. And I remember me being in a three-way call between my insurance provider, my doctor, and me. And my doctor was like, she can't be on any other medication. She is already at a point where where her mental health is dangerous. Like, she has no life in her voice right now. She needs this. And unfortunately, that's kind of the reality of a lot of people and their insurance providers. A lot of people have died as a result of their insurance looking at their dire situation Everybody agrees that it's dire. And the insurance company will essentially be like, I don't think it's dire enough. And yes, Brian Thompson was somebody's husband, somebody's son, and somebody's father. And he was also the CEO of a company where thousands of people's sons, daughters, wives, husbands, aunts, uncles, somebody's baby, somebody's loved one died at the hands of his company. We have had the conversation about our broken healthcare system, about the extreme pain that insurance companies give people, the grief that people had to endure at the hands of a company that denies people treatment that is necessary. And unfortunately, a natural consequence of that is somebody becoming so tired, so exhausted, that they have to take the extreme option and take the head person's life, for somebody to sit here and really unpack the layers as to what that company did and why people are so angry. And I don't know you, so I don't.
I'm seeing shit about how people said they voted for Trump because they wanted to get rid of Obamacare because the Affordable Care Act was better. It's the same thing.
United Healthcare, just saying the name, can spark strong feelings in people. Whether you are someone who has dealt with their policy directly or you have simply heard the complaints online, United Healthcare seems to inspire some very passionate responses, but it's not just the company itself that draws such reaction. It's also the name at the helm, Brian Thompson, the CEO of the United Healthcare. So why is it that United Healthcare and Brian Thompson especially invoke such a range of opinions, many of them pretty extreme? Let's start with United Healthcare itself. For context, United Healthcare is one of the largest healthcare insurance providers in the United States. It serves millions of people across the country, providing coverage for individuals, families, employees, and even government programs like medical and Medicare. But despite its size and influence, it's no secret that the company isn't exactly beloved by all, and that is where the problem starts. For many people, their experiences with health insurance can feel frustrating, complicated, and sometimes downright maddening. The first issue is something that most of us have encountered at one point or another: high premiums. Health insurance is expensive, and for many it seems like you are paying a lot of money each month for something that doesn't always feel like it's working in your favor. This frustration grows when people have trouble accessing the care they need or find out that certain treatments are either denied or deemed out of network. No one wants to feel like their health is being treated as a business transaction, yet for many that is how it feels. United Healthcare, like many large insurance companies, often becomes the target for this frustration. It's not hard to find examples of people complaining about denied claims, lengthy wait times, and poor customer services. In fact, you don't have to look far to find entire forums dedicated to the negativity experiences people have had with this company. When you are struggling to get the care you need, or worse, when you feel like you are provided is making decisions based on profit rather than your well-being, that sense of frustration quickly turns into resentment. Now, throw Brian Thompson into the mix. As the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson is, for many, the face of everything people love or hate about the company. For those who see United Healthcare as a necessary evil, Thompson represents the person making the tough, often unpopular decisions. He's the one they blame when they can't get the treatment they need or when their health insurance premiums keep climbing. And let's be real, it's easy to point fingers when you don't feel heard, especially when it feels like the company is making decisions that don't align with what consumers actually need. But here's the catch: Brian Thompson is also the person responsible for trying to improve the company. Under his leadership, United Healthcare has made some significant changes. They have worked to expand coverages in some areas. They have focused on making healthcare more accessible for underserved communities. Some people even credit him with making effort to reduce costs, introduce new health technologies, and bring innovative services to market. On paper, that sounds great, right? Yet, despite this effort, the public's perception of him remains mixed. Why? Because for many people, the issues they are facing with company hasn't solved by new initiatives. It doesn't matter how much a company grows or how many new services they offer, when the basics like getting a doctor in network or understanding your coverage are still a challenge. For a lot of people, the frustration comes from feeling like they have been ignored or left out of the conversation. It's important to remember, though, that Brian Thompson didn't create the healthcare system that we are working with. The issues of rising premiums, limited access, and complicated healthcare processes are part of a larger systemic problem. But as CEO, he is responsible for steering the ship, and the public often holds him accountable for anything that goes wrong. Whether it's fair or not, CEO becomes the face of the issues, and in this case, Thompson is very much in the crossfire. Now let's talk about why the reaction to Brian Thompson seems so extreme. It's almost like people have two opposing views of him. Some see him as a leader who is doing his best to innovate in a broken system. They look at his leadership and think he's trying to make things better even if it's slow process. But then there are those who look at the exact same decision and say the guy is part of the problem. He is seen as someone who is perpetuating a system that prioritizes profit over patients. This division is not unique to United Healthcare. When it comes to major corporations, especially in healthcare, the public reaction is often tied to trust or the lack of it. People want to feel like their insurance company has their back. They want to know that the people running the company care about providing real value and affordable care. But when the perception is that executives are more interested in lining their pockets rather than making a positive change in the lives of customers, trust is shattered, and without trust, you can't bet that the CEO like Thompson will bear the brunt of the anger. And this is where things get weird. People seem to react to Brian Thompson on a deeply emotional level. For some, it's a kind of misplaced anger. When they are frustrated with the healthcare system, it's easy to blame a single figurehead than it is to confront the system itself. And for others, it's a feeling of hopelessness, and they just don't believe the leadership can fix what's broken. They feel betrayed by the system that is supposed to protect them, but instead it feels like it's just taking advantage of their vulnerability. But here's the thing, no matter where you stand on Brian Thompson or United Healthcare, the real issue is much larger than one individual or one company. We are talking about a healthcare system in the US that is deeply flawed, where access to a quality care is often determined by one's ability to pay. Health insurance companies like United Healthcare are often caught in the middle of a system that doesn't seem to have the best interests of the consumer at heart. That being said, change can happen. Whether or not Brian Thompson will be the one to drive that change is still up for debate. But what we do know is that people are watching closely. They want to see whether United Healthcare will be the part of the solution or remain part of the problem. And at the heart of this is not just United Healthcare itself, but the broader conversation about healthcare access, affordability, and equality. So, where does that leave us? Well, it's clear that United Healthcare and Brian Thompson have their work cut out for them. The question isn't just about whether they can improve customer satisfaction. It's about whether they can restore trust in a system that many believe has been broken for too long. The reaction we see to United Healthcare and its CEO hasn't just about business decisions. They reflect a deep frustration with the entire healthcare system. Until that system changes, the criticism and sometimes strange reactions are likely to keep coming. Thank you for watching, and let's continue this conversation in the comments below. Let's share our thoughts and perspective with one another. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on this story and more. I will see you in the next video.